Today we begin our deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, a book that reveals how power really moves behind closed doors, how kings fall, how commoners rise, and how perception can be more deadly than truth. Law 1. Never outshine the master. That's it. That's the first rule. And if you forget it, it might be your last. This law is simple and brutal. Never make the people above you feel inferior. No matter how skilled, smart, or charismatic you are, never let it show if you're better than the ones in power. Because if you do, you become a threat, and threats get eliminated. The people above you, bosses, mentors, leaders, they may smile at your success, they may pretend to encourage you, but inside, insecure people fear being replaced. And power is paranoid by nature. Robert Greene says, always make those above you feel superior. If you make them feel like they are smarter or more talented than you will survive and thrive. But the moment you outshine them, you are doomed. So what does this look like in real life? You solve a problem faster than your boss. You get more praise than your mentor. You're more charming in the room than the CEO. Sounds like a win, right? It's not. Because the higher-ups start asking questions. Is he trying to take my place? Is she outgrowing me? Do people respect them more than me? They don't fire you because you made a mistake. They fire you because you made them feel weak. Power protects itself. And if you forget that, you'll be replaced before you even see it coming. Your job is not to shine so bright that everyone sees you. Your job is to reflect light back onto those above you until it's your time. In the next few minutes, we'll look at real stories of people who broke this law and paid the price. And more importantly, how you can use this law to move silently, rise steadily, and dominate the long game. Let's begin. The first law is simple but powerful. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel superior. If you make them feel smarter, more talented, or more capable than you will survive and thrive. And the moment you outshine them, you become a threat. And in the world of power, threats are not tolerated. But the moment you outshine them, you become a threat. If you make them feel smarter, more talented, or more capable than you will survive and thrive. But the moment you outshine them, you become a threat. And in the world of power, threats are not tolerated. And in the world of power, threats are not tolerated. Today to me imagine, because they manage my miles, they were services. If you make them feel smarter, more talented, or more capable than you will survive and thrive. And in the world of power, threats are not tolerated. A powerful people are often insecure and paranoid. They fear losing their status and influence. Even if they appear confident, inside they watch closely for anyone who might overshadow them. Powerful people are often insecure and paranoid. They fear losing their status and influence. Even if they appear confident, inside they watch closely for anyone who might overshadow them. Robert Greene writes, "Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will climb the ladder. If you make them feel like they are smarter or more talented than you will survive and thrive. But the moment you outshine them, you are doomed." History is full of examples of great men who fell because they outshone their superiors, intentionally or not. Your job is to avoid this fate by always letting your masters feel like the brightest, smartest, most talented people in the room. This doesn't mean hiding your talents completely. Instead, control how and when you reveal them. Be subtle. Be careful. If you openly display superiority, you risk envy, resentment, and your downfall. Make your masters feel secure. Support them. Praise them. Make them feel brilliant, even if you know better. This strategy is about patience and timing. Wait for the right moment to rise. Let your masters bask in their glow, and when the time is right, move quietly but decisively. Ignore this law at your own risk. Those who do are often destroyed by those they sought to impress or replace. Master this law and you protect yourself and your path to power. History teaches us powerful lessons through the fates of those who failed to follow the first law. Never outshine the master. Let's begin with the story of Nicolas Fouquet, finance minister of France under King Louis XIV, known as the Sun King. Fouquet was a man of extraordinary wealth and ambition, who built the magnificent Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte, a palace so lavish it rivaled the royal residences themselves. He wanted to impress the king and secure his favor. To do this, Fouquet threw a grand party, the likes of which Paris had never seen, filled with music, food, fireworks, and art. The king was invited to witness this display of wealth and power firsthand. However, the event backfired dramatically. Instead of feeling honored, Louis XIV felt overshadowed and threatened. The king, already known for his fragile ego and absolute rule, saw Fouquet's splendor as a challenge to his authority. Shortly after, Fouquet was arrested, accused of embezzlement and treason. He spent the rest of his life imprisoned, and his grand palace was confiscated by the crown. Robert Greene writes, "Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will climb the ladder." Fouquet's fatal error was making the king feel less important. This is the harsh reality of power. Those who lead are often insecure, sensitive to any sign that their position might be undermined. Consider the tragic case of Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, and once a close friend and advisor to King Henry II of England. Initially, Becket was loyal and obedient, but as Archbishop, he grew in influence and power, sometimes opposing the king's wishes. This shift transformed their friendship into bitter rivalry. Becket's growing authority was seen as a threat. Eventually, Becket was murdered inside Canterbury Cathedral by knights believed to be acting on the king's indirect orders. His death shocked the nation and became a symbol of the lethal nature of power struggles. Becket's fate is a brutal reminder. Outshining the master can lead not just to downfall, but to mortal danger. In the realm of science, Galileo Galilei provides another example. His groundbreaking discoveries challenged the geocentric view held by the Church, the ultimate power at the time. Despite his genius, Galileo's conflict with religious authorities was inevitable. He was forced to recant his findings under threat of torture and imprisonment. His story shows how even intellect and truth must be carefully navigated within the structures of power. Across centuries, the pattern remains. Those who hold power guard it fiercely. They do not tolerate being overshadowed or outperformed. Even brilliance can be dangerous if it threatens the status quo. Understanding this is crucial for anyone seeking power or influence. You must learn to shine quietly, to make your masters look good, and to reveal your talents with tact and patience. As Greene warns, if you make them feel smarter or more talented than you, you will survive and thrive. But the moment you outshine them, you are doomed. Failing this lesson means risking everything you've built. Success lies not just in talent, but in managing perceptions and egos. This delicate dance between ambition and discretion is the foundation of lasting power. And with that understanding, we can turn to how these lessons apply in the modern world. Even today, the story of power and its struggles remains unchanged. Those who shine too brightly risk provoking envy and anger from those higher in the hierarchy. In business, talented employees or subordinates sometimes overshadow their leaders with their success. One well-known example is the story of Ivan Jeskine, a brilliant manager in a large corporation. He climbed the career ladder quickly, gaining recognition for his innovations. However, His success sparked jealousy in his department head, who began creating obstacles for him. Eventually, Jeskine was forced to leave the company despite his potential. This is a classic case of someone outshining the boss and becoming an unwanted threat. In politics, the situation is similar. Candidates or aides who shine too openly risk losing support or even being pushed out of power. For example, Anna Wilson, a senator's aide, openly showcased her ideas and achievements. Feeling threatened, her colleagues spread rumors and created barriers to her career advancement. Ultimately, she was sidelined from key projects. In show business, the environment is no less ruthless. Famous artists who start overshadowing their producers or senior colleagues often face cold receptions or diminished support. The story of James Carter, who rose quickly and began competing with a legendary producer, ended with him being excluded from major projects. These examples show that, regardless of the field, breaking the first law of power has serious consequences. To survive and thrive, one must learn to play by the rules of power. Common mistakes when breaking law. 1. Never outshine the master. One of the biggest traps in the pursuit of power is the failure to understand how fragile authority really is. Many ambitious people make the critical mistake of assuming their talent alone will protect them. They believe that hard work and brilliance should be enough to secure their rise. But power is not only about talent, it is also about perception. When you outshine your master, even unintentionally, you risk triggering envy and insecurity. This can manifest in many ways. You might be publicly praised one day, only to find yourself suddenly isolated or undermined the next. A common error is showing off your skills too openly. This can make your superiors feel threatened. Another mistake is challenging authority directly, questioning decisions or making yourself look better than your boss in front of others. Such behavior can provoke retaliation. Sometimes people forget that timing matters deeply. Revealing your strengths too early, before you have secured a solid foundation, can be dangerous. You might also misread social cues. Failing to recognize your master's insecurities can be costly. Remember, even the most confident leaders can be deeply insecure beneath the surface. Ignoring this reality is a fatal mistake. Robert Greene warns, always make those above you feel comfortably superior. Another common pitfall is not giving enough credit to your masters. Failing to praise or acknowledge their role can breed resentment. People crave validation, especially those in power. If you neglect this, you risk becoming a target. Lastly, some people believe that being authentic means never hiding their talents. While authenticity is valuable, in the world of power, discretion is a strategic necessity. Balancing honesty with tact can be the difference between survival and downfall. Understanding these mistakes and avoiding them is crucial. It keeps you safe, respected, and on the path to influence. Practical strategies for applying Law 1. Understanding the law is one thing, but mastering it requires skillful strategy. The first strategy is to make your masters feel superior. This means you should openly praise their ideas, decisions, and qualities. Genuine compliments, even small acknowledgments, can soften egos and build trust. Never correct your master publicly, no matter how tempting it might be. Instead, if you see a mistake or have a better idea, wait for a private moment to share it tactfully. The second strategy is to control how and when you reveal your talents. You don't have to hide your abilities completely, but you should be subtle and measured. Let your skills speak through your results, not your words. The third strategy is to be patient. Power is a long game. Instead of rushing to the spotlight, build alliances and secure your position quietly. This means sometimes stepping back and letting others shine, even if you feel ready to take the lead. The fourth strategy is to observe and understand your master's insecurities. Pay close attention to what makes them uncomfortable or defensive. Avoid those sensitive areas and instead support their strengths. The fifth strategy is to master the art of timing. Knowing when to act and when to stay silent is crucial. Waiting for the right moment to reveal your brilliance can make all the difference in your career. Finally, always present yourself as loyal and dependable. Let your master see you as someone who supports their power, not threatens it. This will earn you trust, protection, and opportunities. Robert Greene reminds us, make your masters appear more brilliant than they are. Make them feel smarter, more talented, and more powerful. Mastering these strategies not only helps you survive in competitive environments, but also positions you for eventual success and influence. Remember, power is not only about shining, but about shining at the right time, in the right way. Inner psychological analysis. Fears, motivations, and personality types behind Law 1. To truly master the first law of power, never outshine the master, we need to understand what drives the masters themselves. At the core of this law lies human psychology, fear, insecurity, and the primal need for status. Those in power often wrestle with a deep, sometimes hidden fear, the fear of losing their position. Even the most confident leaders have moments of doubt. They worry about being replaced, overshadowed, or exposed as inadequate. This fear makes them highly sensitive to threats, real or imagined. When a subordinate shines too brightly, it triggers alarm bells. The master feels vulnerable. This vulnerability is not always rational. It stems from the emotional need to feel superior and in control. This is why showing off your talents recklessly can be dangerous. But it's not only fear that motivates masters. It's also the desire for admiration and validation. Leaders crave respect. They want to be seen as the smartest, strongest, and most capable person in the room. When someone else outshines them, it threatens this image. Understanding these motivations helps you navigate power dynamics with tact. Now let's look at different personality types and how they react to being outshined. First, there is the insecure master. This leader constantly doubts their worth and fears losing control. They are quick to see threats and react harshly to anyone who outperforms them. With this type, subtlety and constant reassurance are key. You must make them feel safe and admired. Next, the egotistical master. They have a grand sense of self-importance and demand admiration. They are prone to arrogance, but can also be volatile when challenged. With egotistical leaders, praise must be sincere but measured. Avoid direct competition. Then the paranoid master. Always suspicious of those around them. They see potential rivals everywhere. They may sabotage or undermine outshining subordinates. With paranoids, discretion and patience are vital. Never expose your strengths prematurely. Finally, the secure master. This rare type is confident and magnanimous. They can tolerate others' talents and may even nurture them. However, secure masters are exceptions. Most leaders fall into one of the earlier categories. Knowing your master's personality type helps you tailor your behavior. It helps you avoid mistakes that trigger insecurity or jealousy. Motivational message: taking control of your power journey. Now, before we wrap up, let me speak directly to you. You may be wondering, how do I apply this law in my life? How do I navigate the tricky waters of power without losing myself? The truth is, power is not just for the politicians or CEOs. It's for anyone who wants to live with intention, to move through the world with confidence and purpose. Understanding the first law, never outshine the master, is about more than survival. It's about respect, strategy, and patience. It's about learning to manage your presence, your energy, and your impact. You don't have to dim your light, but you do have to master its intensity. Think about your own journey. Where have you felt overlooked? Where have you pushed too hard and met resistance? This law invites you to be thoughtful, to consider not just what you want, but how others feel. Because power is a dance, a relationship. It's not a solo performance. When you learn to lead with subtlety and grace, when you cultivate patience and understanding, you open doors that force alone cannot. Remember, every master was once a student. Every powerful person started somewhere. Your journey to power is unique. Embrace it with humility and wisdom. Be patient with yourself. Watch, listen, and learn. And above all, know that your time to shine will come. You just need to prepare. You need to be ready. So keep building your skills, your confidence, and your strategy. The path is long, but every step forward is progress. Power is not a destination, it's a journey, and you are on that path. Summary and motivational closing for Law 1, Never Outshine the Master. As we reach the end of our deep dive into the first law of power, remember this simple truth. Power is a delicate balance of light and shadow. You don't need to dim your light forever, but you must learn when to shine and when to blend into the background. The masters you serve are humans, with fears, insecurities, and desires just like you. Your success depends not only on your talents but on your emotional intelligence, on your ability to read the room and navigate complex social webs. To thrive in the game of power, you must master patience, subtlety, and timing. Learn to praise without envy, to support without submission, to rise without threatening those who stand above you. This law is not about hiding your greatness. It's about channeling it with wisdom. Think of yourself as a skilled artist, painting with light, sometimes bold strokes, sometimes soft glows, always aware of the canvas and the frame. Remember the words of Robert Greene, never outshine the master, but also remember, your time to shine will come. If you master this law, you build a foundation of trust and respect. You secure your place in the hierarchy and set the stage for future success. So keep learning, keep watching, keep adapting. The path to power is a long one, but with patience and strategy, it is yours to walk. Thank you for listening to this journey through Law 1 of the 48 Laws of Power. May your path be illuminated with wisdom and strength.